So, the Chicago Bulls, from 1991 to 1998, they won a total of 6 NBA championships. And in today's video, I'm going to cover all 6 championships the Chicago Bulls were able to win. And of course, I'm going to go through their whole playoff runs during each year. I'm going to go full in depth about the teams they played and the team they had. I'm going to also talk about their regular season. So this video could be a bit long. So grab some popcorn and enjoy. So the first thing I'm going to start off with is, of course, the 1990s to 1991 season. This is the first time the Bulls made the finals during their dynasty. But now let's look at their coach and the roster they had. For their head coach, the Chicago Bulls had a legendary Phil Jackson. And for their roster, they had guys like B.J. Armstrong, Bill Cartwright, Horace Grant, Craig Hodges, John Paxson, Scottie Pippen, Scott Williams, and of course, Michael Jordan. This Chicago Bulls team was first in offense, 7th in defense, and of course they had the best record in the East, having a record of 61-21. And now, let's head to the first round of the 1991 playoffs. In the first round of the 1991 playoffs, the Chicago Bulls will go against the Patrick Ewing-led New York Knicks. In game one versus the New York Knicks, the Chicago Bulls will win that game with the score being 126-85. The leading scorer for that game was Michael Jordan. The leading rebounder for that game was Horace Grant. And the man with the most assists that game was B.J. Armstrong. But now let's move ahead to game two. In game two, the Chicago Bulls will win yet again with the score being 89-79. The leading scorer for the Bulls that game was, of course, Michael Jordan. The man with the most rebounds for the Bulls that game was Scottie Pippen. The man with the most assists for that game was Scottie Pippen. So now let's move on to game three of the first round playoffs. In game three of the first round playoffs versus the Knicks, the Chicago Bulls will win yet again with the score being 103-94, and now they sweep the New York Knicks. Let's head to the second round. In the second round of playoffs, the Chicago Bulls will go against the Philadelphia 76ers, led by Charles Barkley. So, in game one, the Chicago Bulls will win this game, the score being 105-92. And the leading scorer for the Bulls this game was, of course, Michael Jordan. The man with the most rebounds for the Bulls this game was Horace Grant. And the man with the most assists for this game was Scottie Pippen. And now we head on to game two. In this game, the Chicago Bulls will win, with the score being 112-100. The leading scorer for this game was, of course, Michael Jordan, with him having 29 points this game. Rebounds this game was Scottie Pippen. And the man with the most assists this game was Michael Jordan. And now we head on to game three of this series. In game three of this series, the Bulls will lose a very, very close game, with the score being 99-97. The leading scorer for this game was Michael Jordan. The leading rebounder for this game was Scottie Pippen. And Michael Jordan and Scottie tied for the most assists, with both of them having 6 assists this night. So now let's move on to game four. In game four, the Chicago Bulls will win this game, with the score being 101-85. The man with the most points this game was Michael Jordan. The man with the most rebounds this game was Horace Grant. And the man with the most assists this game was Michael Jordan. So now, let's head to game five. In game five of this series, the Bulls will close it out, with the score being 100-95. The leading scorer for this game was Michael Jordan. The man with the most rebounds this game was Michael Jordan. And the man with the most assists this game was Michael Jordan. And now, the first time during this dynasty, the Bulls head to the Eastern Conference Finals. In the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals, the Chicago Bulls would play the Detroit Pistons, led by Isaiah Thomas. So, here we are, May 19, 1991, in Chicago Stadium. A young Bulls team is looking to go to the finals, and one of the best teams during the 80s is looking to return to the finals. So now let's get into this game. In game one, the Bulls would beat the Pistons, with the score being 94-83. The leading scorer for the Bulls this game was, of course, Michael Jordan. The man with the most rebounds this game was Horace Grant. And for the man with the most assists, it was a three-way tie between John Paxson, B.J. Armstrong, and Michael Jordan. And now it's time for game two. In game two, the Chicago Bulls will yet again win, with the score being 105-97. The leading scorer for this game was, of course, Michael Jordan. The man with the most rebounds this game was Scottie Pippen. And the man with the most assists this game was Michael Jordan. So now, let's move on to game three of the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals. In game three, the Bulls will win again, with the score being 113-107. The man with the most points this game was Michael Jordan. The man with the most rebounds this game was Scottie Pippen. And the man with the most assists this game was Michael Jordan. And now we hit on to game four of the Eastern Conference Finals. In game four of the Eastern Conference Finals, the Chicago Bulls will win this series, the score being 115-94. Leading scorer, Michael Jordan. The man with the most rebounds, Horace Grant. And the man with the most assists, Scottie Pippen. So now we head to the 1991 NBA Finals, where the Bulls will play the Magic Johnson-led Los Angeles Lakers. Let's get into this series. So, game one of the 1991 NBA Finals. It was a very close game, the score being 93-91. But sadly, the Bulls will fall short. And now the Bulls fall down 0-1 in the series. In this game, the man with the most points was Michael Jordan. The man with the most rebounds this game was Horace Grant. And the man with the most assists this game was Michael Jordan. But with that being said, let's head on to game 2 of the 1991 NBA Finals. Game 2 of the NBA Finals wasn't so close this time. The score was 107 to 86. With the winner of this game being the Chicago Bulls. The leading scorer for this game was Michael Jordan. The man with the most rebounds this game was Michael Jordan. And the man with the most assists this game was Michael Jordan. Now, in game 3, the score was 104 to 96 with the Bulls coming out on top. The leading scorer for this game was Michael Jordan. The man with the most rebounds this game was Scottie Pippen. And the man with the most assists this game, Michael Jordan. Now let's head to game 4. In game 4, the score was 97 to 82 with the Bulls coming out on top, and now they lead the series 3-1. Leading scorer, Michael Jordan. The man with the most rebounds, Scottie Pippen. And the man with the most assists, Michael Jordan. And now we head to game 5 of the 1991 NBA Finals. In this game, the Bulls would do it. The Bulls would win the NBA championship, and now they kickstart their dynasty. So, with that being said, let's head on to the 1991 to 1992 season. In 1991 to 1992, the Bulls would pretty much have the same roster and, of course, the same head coach. Only this time around, the Bulls will have a better record than they did last year, having a record of 67 and 15, which puts them first in the West. In the first round of the playoffs, of the 1992 playoffs, the Bulls will go against the Miami Heat. First game, the Bulls would beat the Miami Heat, with the score being 113 to 94. Their leading scorer of that game was, of course, Michael Jordan. The man with the most rebounds that game was Michael Jordan, and the man with the most assists that game was Scottie Pippen. Now let's move on to game 2. In game 2, the Bulls would beat the Heat again, with the score being 120 to 90. The leading scorer for this game, Michael Jordan. The man with the most assists this game, Michael Jordan. And the man with the most rebounds this game, Michael Jordan. In game 3, now we move on to game 3, sweeping them. The man with the most points, it was Michael Jordan. And in this game, he dropped 56 points to close out the Heat. So with that being said, let's move on to the second round, the 1992 playoffs. In the second round, the 1992 playoffs, the Bulls would go against the New York Knicks. And in the first game against the Knicks, the Bulls would lose this game with the score being 94 to 89. So let's not sit too much on that game and head on to game 2. In game 2, the Bulls would win this game with the score being 86 to 78. The man with the most assists this game was John Paxson. The man with the most rebounds this game, Horace Grant. The man with the most points this game, Michael Jordan. And now we head to game 3. In game 3, the Bulls would win again with the score being 94 to 86. Jordan had the most points, Grant had the most rebounds, and Paxson had the most assists. In game 4, the Bulls would lose this game with the score being 86 to 93. So let's head to game 5. In game 5, the Bulls would win this game with the score being 96 to 88. Now let's head to game 6. In game 6, the Bulls would lose this game with the score being 100 to 86. And now this is it. In the second round of the 1992 playoffs, the Bulls head to a game 7. And in game 7, the Bulls will win this game with the score being 110 to 81. And now the Bulls advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second year in a row. In the 1992 Eastern Conference Finals, the Chicago Bulls will play the Cleveland Cavaliers. Oh boy. In game 1, the Bulls will win this game with the score being 103 to 89. Move ahead to game 2. In game 2, the Bulls will lose that game with the score being 107 to 81. Fun fact, Mark Price had 23 points and 7 assists that game. I'm just saying. But let's move on to game 3. In game 3, the Bulls will win this game with the score being 105 to 96. Now let's move to game 4. In game 4, the Bulls would lose with the score being 99 to 85. And now we move on to game 5. In game 5, the Bulls will win this game with the score being 112 to 89. And now, here it is, game 6. In game 6, the Bulls will win. And now they advance to their second finals in a row. In the finals, the Bulls will go against the Clyde Drexler-led Portland Trail Blazers. In game 1, the Bulls will win this game with the score being 122 to 89. And of course, the leading scorer was Michael Jordan. Now let's head on to game 2. In game 2, the Bulls will actually lose this game with the score being 115 to 104. And now the series is tied at 1-1. So let's move on to game 3. In game 3, the Bulls will win this game by 10 points with the score being 94 to 84. And now we move on to game 4. In game 4, the Bulls will lose this game with the score being 93 to 88. And now let's head on to game 5. In game 5, the Bulls will come back and win this game with the score being 119 to 106. And now we head to game 6. And in game 6, the Chicago Bulls would do it. They would win their second championship in a row. So with that being said, let's now head to the 1992 to 1993 season. And like I said before, the Bulls pretty much had the same team they did the past 2 years. So now let's go to their record. In the 92 to 93 season, the Bulls had a record of 57-25. So with that being said, let's head on to the playoffs. Since this is the last championship of the first three-peat, I'm gonna mostly talk about the finals instead of the playoffs. So during the first 3 rounds, I'm just zooming through them. So in the first round of the playoffs, the Bulls would play the Atlanta Hawks, and in that round, the Bulls would sweep the Hawks. And now we head to the second round. In the second round, the Bulls would play the Cleveland Cavaliers, and in that round, the Bulls would beat the Cavaliers, sweeping them in 4 games. And now we head to the Eastern Conference Finals, which they would play the New York Knicks, and in that round, the Bulls would beat the Knicks, with the series being 4-2. And now we head to the 1993 NBA Finals, in which the Chicago Bulls would play the Phoenix Suns, a Suns team led by Charles Barkley. In Game 1 of the 1993 NBA Finals, the Bulls would win this game with a score being 100-92. The leading scorer, you might ask, Michael Jordan. In Game 2, the Bulls would win this game also, with the score being 111-108. And the leading scorer for the Bulls, Michael Jordan with 42 points. And now we move on to Game 3. In Game 3, the Phoenix Suns will win this game, with the score being 129-121. And now we move on to Game 4. And in Game 4, the Bulls will win this game, with the score being 111-105. And the leading scorer for the Bulls, Michael Jordan. And in this game, he dropped 55 points. And now we move on to Game 5. And in which Game 5, the Suns will win this game, with the score being 108-98. But now, let's move to Game 6. In Game 6, the Bulls will win a very, very close game, with the score being 99-98. And with that being said, the Bulls cap off their three-peat. And as you already know, Michael Jordan retired from basketball for 2 years. So we are going to skip those seasons and go to the 95 to 96 season. This Bulls team look a little bit different from the first three-peat. This Bulls team had guys like Tony Kukoc, Ron Harper, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, and of course, Michael Jordan. This Chicago's Bulls team were able to go 72-10, with that record being the greatest record of all time up to that point. So with that being said, let's get into the playoffs. In the first round of the 1996 playoffs, the Chicago Bulls played the Miami Heat. And this was another easy series for the Bulls, so I'm just going to skip past this and go to the second round. In the second round, the Chicago Bulls will play the New York Knicks. It seems like they played them a lot, doesn't it? In Game 1 of this series, the Bulls will win the game, with the score being 91-84. And the leading scorer for this game, Michael Jordan. Now let's move on to Game 2. In Game 2, the Bulls will also win this game, with the score being 91-80. And leading scorer, Michael Jordan. Also, fun fact in this game, Dennis Rodman had 19 rebounds. But now, we'll move on to Game 3. And in Game 3, the Bulls will lose this game, with the score being 102-99. Now, let's move on to Game 4. And in Game 4, the Bulls will come back and win this game, with the score being 94-91. And now move on to Game 5. And in Game 5, the Bulls will close out the Knicks, with the score being 94-81. In the 1996 Eastern Conference Finals, the Bulls will play a young Orlando Magic team being led by Shaq and Penny Hardaway. This will be another easy round for the Bulls, as they will sweep the Orlando Magic and now head to the NBA Finals for the first time in 2 years. In the NBA Finals, they will play the Seattle Supersonics. In the NBA Finals, it wasn't so easy for the Bulls because it took them 6 games to beat Seattle Supersonics. But with that being said, winning the 1996 Finals will now kick off their second three-peat. With that being said, let's now head on to the 1996 to 1997 season. In the 96 to 97 season, the Bulls will pretty much have the same team, but only this time they went 69-13. So, with that being said, let's head to the 1997 playoffs. In the first round of the 1997 playoffs, the Chicago Bulls will go against the Washington Bullets. And in this round, the Bulls will sweep the Bullets. In the next 2 rounds, the Bulls will play the Hawks and the Heat, and the Bulls will be able to beat both teams in 5 games. And now, we go to the 1997 Finals. In the 1997 NBA Finals, the Bulls will play the Utah Jazz. In Game 1 of the 1997 NBA Finals, the Bulls will be able to win a very, very close game with the score being 84-82. And now, with that being said, let's move on to Game 2. In Game 2, the Bulls will be able to win again with the score being 97-85. And for Game 3 and Game 4, the Bulls will lose both games. And now, we head to Game 5. And in Game 5, the Bulls will win a very close game again with the score being 90-88. And now, here we are, 1997, June 13th, Game 6 of the NBA Finals. The Bulls will win this game. And now the Bulls win back-to-back titles. With that being said, let's now head to their last championship, the 1997 to 1998 season. So, since this is the last championship the Bulls won, let's skip straight to the finals, in which, in the finals, they played the Utah Jazz. This finals was the end of an era. The Bulls would win their last championship, Michael Jordan would hit a crazy shot, and the Jazz will never come back to the finals after this. I say all that to say, in 1998, the Bulls won the NBA championship. But one thing, before I go, I want to shout out the dude who made my thumbnail. He did great. I'll make sure to pin his Twitter in the comments. With that being said, that's all I got for this video. I am out.